Hey, backyard gardeners, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay. It is a gorgeous mid-July summer afternoon, and the question keeps coming up to me, hey Jay, what are you gonna be planting in your garden next? And what should I plant in my garden next? And a lot of people don't know that in mid-July is the perfect planting window where you wanna start getting your full crop setup. Right now, your garden's popping. You got beautiful cucumbers, you got beautiful tomatoes and peppers, but a lot of people forget that right now is where you have to start setting up for your fall crops. So we're gonna walk through a few things and I'm gonna show you what you can start this week so you're successful in the fall time. So let's go ahead, let's get into it. So most people don't realize that July is when you plant your crops that will grow into the cooler months. So if you want a beautiful fall harvest, you got to start your plants now. Let me show you exactly what we could do this week to get ahead of things. And a lot of gardeners think once summer crops hit their peaks, like the tomatoes, the squash, it's time to wind down. But fall gardening doesn't start in fall, it starts in mid-July. By the time the weather cools down, it's too late to start from seed, and that's why the perfect time to start plant brassicas, your root crops and flowers and more, is right about now. These pickling cucumbers are perfect for July because they love the heat and they keep producing fast. I succession plant these, and this is my first round. When they start tapering off, I'll put a second round, and that'll fit me all the way through August. This heat has been perfect for my zucchinis, both the golden and also the green. These plants love full sun, warm soil, and lots of water. I put a lot of mulch around the base so it keeps it very moist. And you could sow these directly right now because they only take 45 to 55 days to harvest. Beets in July? Absolutely. Just keep them watered, mulch, and they'll thrive right through the heat. Man, look at those beauties, ready to eat. Can't forget about the golden ones too. A little nuttier taste, but they're excellent. All right, backyard gardeners, what's up? So basically, this is our next step right here of our fall crops. This is the seed starting mix, which is very important to use a good seed starting mix. This seed starting mix is basically, it's called Pro Mix BX. And you could order it on the Amazon. The best thing is find like a local hardware store that carries this. But this is a professional grade mix. It's very light and fluffy, and it's sterile. It's very clean. It's like you wouldn't want to put a brand new baby on something that's dirty. You want everything nice and clean, sterile. Same thing with the baby roots. For a very successful plant without disease and issues, you want to make sure that it use a good mix right off the bat. So, and also, since it's so fluffy and stuff like that, it allows the oxygen to get to the roots, so you won't have any root rot or anything like that. And I also added a little bit of my own homemade compost to this, which gives it a nice, gentle, natural nutrition. Something that's all organic materials. So it's something that it really, really needs and enjoys. So basically, I'm going to be using two different size containers. I'm going to be using a 5-inch and a 3-inch. And the 3-inch is going to be for most of your vegetables, your herbs. You could use it for flowers, different smaller vegetables. And this is for like the 5 inches for your larger vegetables, like your zucchinis, your squashes, your cucumber plants, which kind of throw a little bit of a deeper taproot and make a bigger root system. So I'm going to be using these two pretty much instead of, you could use the regular trays. Let me grab one. Hold on. I mean, you might even see me use one of these trays. This one I had something in there before, but I might use this for like flowers or something like that. So, or lettuces. I'll probably put my lettuces in something smaller. But anyway, I'm going to be using this method here, and I'm going to be putting them in my little mini greenhouse, which I'll show you next. And the little mini greenhouse just basically gives it a consistent temperature. And the biggest thing is putting it somewhere where you could protect it from the heavy rains and the pests. All right, let's get into it now. All right, guys, so this is basically my little greenhouse I was talking about, the mini one I got from Costco's. I was fortunate enough to get it. It was the last one, and it was a display, so I only spent like 150 bucks, I think, on it at the time. But yeah, if you notice, it's got some shelves in here, and I have it in a nice sunny spot. And basically, this is from that spot. I mean, this is from the seed starting mix I just showed you. Got some of my 3-inch pots, and this is a 16 cell tray. I got another 16 cell tray here, and these are the larger ones, the 5-inch pots. I'll be doing some of the zucchini squashing. Another 16 cell tray right here. 16 cells means basically there's 16 of the little cells. And this is just a mix of 3-inch and 5-inch. And I got a couple on the ground down there too. And these are my hibiscus trees, which I'm very, very proud of, because it's not easy to grow hibiscus trees from seed. And there they are. That's proof that you could do it in New Jersey. And I got a little thermostat here. Right now it's showing about 82 degrees. So yeah, I'm going to show you a list of all the different items I'm going to be planting here. And this is my little mini greenhouse. So if you don't have a mini greenhouse, just put it in a shady area in your yard. I like it in here because it's protected from the rain. So basically you don't want your seeds, your little seeds, to be sitting in the puddles of water. That's how you get rot. And that's the whole idea of putting in this little mini greenhouse. You don't need a greenhouse though. You could put it, like I said, in a sunny area and just throw like a tarp over it or some kind of covering, or do it on your back deck. You could actually do it in your garage too. But with your garage, you got to make sure you put some kind of lighting. If you watch one of my previous videos about your setup that you could get, I made a kind of a goofy video, which is fun, but of basically a seed starting rack that you could get at Costco's with some of the lighting and stuff. I would suggest getting that set up because you'll need it again in spring. Come March, February, March, you're going to be looking for something to plant, and you're going to need some kind of growing rack. So anyway, let's get into some of the seeds I'm starting. So here's some of the things I'm going to actually be growing. And you look at here, basically, these are basically my beets. I have golden and red beets. I have some more of these beautiful Benary giant zinnias. These are from Hoss. Excellent. I have radishes and envy carrots, Hercules, and mokum carrots. Those are going to be direct seeded into the ground. And I'm going to be doing some beautiful cilantro, which we eat tons of, and some lettuces, butter crunch, which is like your butter lettuce, and the bronze mignon, which is like a kind of like a red leaf lettuce in a sense. It's very good. Jericho is kind of basically your green lettuce. I'm going to be doing some broccoli, and the costata romanescas are beautiful zucchinis, along with the regular, your classic green zucchini, and your yellow squash. I'm going to be doing some of the scalped squash as well. Some cauliflower and lavender cauliflower, which is really good, and some early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. These are just an idea to give you guys somewhat of an idea of what I'll be planting. All right, real quick, let me show you this super simple hoop frame that I added over my raised bed. This is a 10-foot raised bed, so I use 10-foot long PVC pipe, and each one of those hoops are 10 foot as well, bent in half. And there's no gluing, no big construction. I literally just use some electrical tape. This is white electrical tape I used for all the joints that are connecting all the way down, the same thing down the middle. And you just basically bend each one of these pipes in half in like a half circle, and I kind of push them down a little hard at first, but what I did is I used these little brackets where I just screwed them onto the side of the raised bed. They're just like a 1/2-inch pipe clamp, nothing special, very like galvanized. And this setup is perfect, for shade cloths and different things. And what I did was, this is actually a T connector, and the T connector is 1/2 inch going into the pipe, and then the other side, the longer side, is that side right here is actually 3/4 inch, so it could slide easily through the hole. And then what I did is, then when I got where I wanted it, I put a screw in there, And then I basically did the same thing for the other side, the identical side on the other side, and then for the middle. Everything is available down at the plumbing area down in Lowe's, but it's very simple. 3 screws, and the hoops are basically, you can make them 3 or 4 feet apart. There's no exact math. I just try to even them out, space them out evenly. And then as you see here, I'm putting an insect netting over top. And I'm just doing this to kind of give you a demonstration how you could use it. Insect netting. You could also use some shade cloth. So right now in July, you would use a shade cloth, like a 30% or 50% shade cloth, depending on where you live. To kind of protect your new little seedlings. You could stick them underneath a hoop with a shade cloth over top of it, so they're not getting hammered by the sun and dying off. And basically, this works out really, really perfect. Because even down the road, when it starts to get cold, you can put plastic over it. For later in the season, which will extend your growing way into the fall, and then maybe even towards Thanksgiving time, depending on where you live. And then these little clamps, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put a little picture of these. These are very helpful. They're actually they're off of Amazon. They're aluminum, and they're 1/2-inch little clamps that fit perfectly on the 1/2-inch PVC. That's what they're actually made for. And it holds down the netting, the plastic, or the shade cloth really, really good. And they're not expensive. I would suggest the metal ones though, versus the plastic ones, because they work better. So if your garden is already thriving, now it's actually the perfect time to start a second succession. I'm getting ready to plant some more of my cucumbers. I'm going to be planting some fresh bush beans, which I absolutely love and my family loves. I'm starting some brassicas like broccoli, cauliflower, throwing in some kale. I'm going to do all that in a little mini greenhouse. And that way, when late summer hits, I'm already got a head start for the fall season, and I'm not scrambling to catch up last minute. So even in the heat, there's still a ton you could do. You just need to pick the right crops and stay ahead. Gardening in July doesn't mean to slow down. It just means to grow smarter. I would say, what are you still growing in July? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're growing in your gardens right now. And if you're thinking about starting a second round of crops or planting a fall, stick around. I'll be showing everything I'm planting next and how I'm protecting it from the heat. So hit that like button. I'd like to see you subscribe if you haven't done that already, and join me on the next one. So we got a lot to grow together, and I will see you there.